All right. Welcome for everybody. Welcome. So, a lot of people wanted to know, hey, Mr. Research, why are you putting together this video? Well, the reason why I'm doing this video is because we as black men, for those of us who are men, we gotta be men. We can't be on this thing where we get to pretend that guys who do stuff against our black community should even be part of our black community. Guys who can't discipline themselves, but they get in front, they go down to their mama's basement at their mama's house and they make these videos uh, against other black folks. You know, this is why the black male community can't really advance. We keep protecting these people like this sex offender. This sex offender, he was a person many of you cared about. You loved hearing the stuff he had to say. You know, hardcore Tito, he the man. He's a loser, 3-time loser. The first time you get a child rape case, you don't learn your lesson there. You take a gun and you go try to rob somebody. All of this while you living with your mom. You 36 trying to rob somebody living with your mom. And at 41, you strangle somebody at your mom's house, which turned out to be your mom. This is a problem. This is a problem. This is a problem the community don't want to admit. You don't want to admit this stuff is constantly happening because many of us want to make an excuse for how dudes are out here behaving. Because you know it's wrong how a lot of these dudes is out here behaving, but you tolerate it because you like, that's my man. Come on. This ain't real soldier shit. This ain't real soldier shit. When you got caught raping this 7th grader, you should have known right then and there. Wait a minute, hold on. I'm down the wrong path. But this is why this guy doesn't learn. And he hid out in the manosphere for years. Hid out in the manosphere. You all praise this dude. He was in Manosphere 1.0. He was the 4th member of me, O'Shea, Minister Jap, and Angry Man. But nobody want to talk about him because we want to protect black men. Now I'm down with protecting black men. I'm always down for black sons. Hey Sheila, how are you? But the problem is we got too many dudes, anti-black dudes, women beaters. This dude sat up here, beat and strangled his mom. He was supposed to get released in June, and then he caught another case while he in jail. So now it's extended to 2022. Well, Mr. Research, don't put his business out there. How is this his business? He's a cancer to the black community. If you had an Italian dude doing this stuff, the Italians would put his name out or kill him. If you had the Jews, they would. The black people ain't concerned with all that. I'm concerned with black. Well, why is it black dudes always want to make? Why is black women always want to make excuses for the terrible things black women do? This is a real problem. This is a real problem. Nobody likes to talk about it. It's a real problem. Then you got people from Africa hanging out in black spaces, talking anti-ADOS, anti-black. Then you got women who are with white guys or with Africans talking anti-black. This is what the problem is. We got too many people, and see, look, I'm doing this as an example. We got too many people who talk crazy online. But in reality, look how they live in their life. In reality, look Look what they're going through. In reality, you're a registered inmate. In reality, registered sex offender. In reality, this is where the problem is, fellas. You don't want to admit it, but this is where the problem is. This is where the problem is. And we got to talk about it because we got to be honest. Well, his name was Hardcore Tito. His name was Hardcore Tito. And he put up, he was doing videos from his mama's basement. All his videos. This is why I say, man, when you got these dudes doing videos from their car, because they doing videos in these crazy little places, man, you got to ask a question. What's going on with these dudes? What's going on with these dudes? And here's a dude, man. He just spent a whole life abusing the black community, robbing people at gunpoint with a gun at 36. Who's robbing people at 36? You strangling a woman at your mom's house in your mom's living room. Strangling. What's going on? It's your mom's house. You 41 at your mom's house. Strangling. It's crazy, man. Nobody likes to talk about it. Nobody likes to talk about it. Everybody likes to pretend everything we out here doing in manosphere is always on point. No, that's not true. That's not true. And we got to start being honest as black men. And the same thing for black women. You got black women who have been busted doing stuff against the black community. And they remember Egypt Ann. You know what I'm saying? People busted doing stuff in the black community. And oh, wait a minute. I don't know if her name was Egypt Ann. I know she was an Egypt chick. She was Egyptian or Ethiopian or something. But she got busted. You know, so I don't know if it was Egypt Ann. Let me not say that. But it was some Ethiopian looking chick. I thought her name was Egypt something. But she got busted. We just got a lot of people who out here. Oh, you didn't know this. Jason Creed said, I didn't know this. Cape said, wow, I remember this guy. Yeah, this guy raped a seventh grader. Okay. He raped a seventh grader. He caught that charge while he was living with his mama. Then at 36, he caught a gun charge robbing somebody. Then at 41, he's up there strangling. It was either his mom or some girl strangling somebody. D. Darrell, come on up and give me an understanding of this psychology. Just for a minute, D. Darrell, come on up. Give me an understanding of this psychology. What triggers these type of dudes, D. Darrell, in your studies that they can be on YouTube pretending, and then in real life they are a horror to the black community? You know, what will make this guy, you know, rape a seventh grader, rob somebody at gunpoint, and then at 41, while he living with his mom, strangle either his mom or some girl in his mom's house? It's ridiculous, man. It's really ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. But this is the problem we have, and we never want to speak on this type of stuff. Now, here's another thing I want to ask D. Darrell. Why would people tell me don't expose his business? Like, I know a lot of people don't like D. Darrell. You know, I got a couple of emails earlier saying, why am I hanging out with this Mago D. Darrell? And I'm like, I don't even hang out with D. Darrell like that. We talk about topics. Okay, D. Darrell has made so many people mad. But the thing is, we have to start admitting, and some of you women too, some of you women got to start admitting some of these women in your female circles on YouTube and online, they don't have the Black community's best interests at heart. It may not be to this level, but there's a lot of them don't have the Black community's thing at heart. And you guys got to start admitting that too. You guys got to start understanding that a lot of these people, they are not trying to do that. So the point of me bringing this up is that in our community, man, we got to decide, what are we going to be? Are we going to be individuals? We're going to be individuals who want to be about the community when it's convenient. Is that what we're going to do? We're going to be about the community only when it's convenient. You know what I'm saying? Or are we going to see these people who are doing damage to our community? Wait a minute. Hit the like button, everybody. Everybody watching right now, hit the like button. I need the like button hit. Nobody's hitting the like button. Hit the like button. And look, somebody gave me a thumbs down. I would love to find out who gave this video a thumbs down so they can stop coming to my page. This is just really crazy. So anyway, well, he's more than a psychopath. He's a damaged person online pretending to be something else. And we got a lot of people like that. That's why people don't want you to know what they do for a living. They don't want you to know how they live. Or what does it matter? It matters because of people like this. Sex offender. That's why it matters. Because we on the registered sex offender list. And here is one of your manosphere YouTubers on the sex offenders list. And currently in jail. That's where the problem comes from. And we make it worse. We make it worse in the Black manosphere because we won't do what the Italians do. We won't do what the Asians do. We won't run these type of dudes up out of our mix. But guess what? It's not for me to run to tell the manosphere what to do, because the manosphere has decided that they like this type of stuff. The manosphere has decided that these type of dudes are okay. You should look at Tito's page and see how some of your favorite YouTubers in his comment section cheering him on after they knew he was a rapist. After they knew he was a rapist. Some of your favorite YouTubers knew this guy was a rapist. But when you go to that comment section, you'll see they was cheering the guy on. I'm glad you back, Tito. I fucks with you, Tito. Knowing the guy's a rapist, knowing the guy's out there hurting Black families, and you out here strangling a woman because, and I'm really starting to see that I think it's his own mom. You out here strangling a woman, your mom, because the charge says domestic violence strangling at his mom's house, his mom's apartment, because mom had an apartment. Because where he got arrested at 18 is the same place he got arrested at 36 and the same place he got arrested at 41, that apartment C. Same apartment every time. But the whole time he's trying to convince the manosphere that he's an up and standing dude, when in actuality these are the people that are hiding in our community, ladies and gentlemen. These are the people hiding in our community. Anybody want to come up, click the link. Anybody want to come up, you can click the link and talk about this problem. See, here's the thing. If we were like the Italians, we wouldn't let a monster like this in our groups talking to us. But guess what? There's a lot of dudes that want to protect this type of dude. Why you gonna put his business out? His business How is it his business? He's not black no more. When you're a parasite to the black community, when you're a parasite to the black community, when you're a cancer to the black community, why are we calling you black now? Does anybody in the chat room want to protect a person who just keeps doing wrong? See, I don't have to ask the women that, but I have to ask the men. Big JX, NC Worker, Jeremy, do you want to keep protecting a dude who's constantly doing wrong in the age of the internet when there's jobs everywhere? Why are you living with your mom at 41 strangling somebody in your mom's living room? Why are you doing that? Can anybody in the chat room explain to me why you at your mama's apartment, the same apartment you've been at since you was a teenager, 16, 15 years old. The address has not changed. The police came and picked you up at your mom's house, apartment C. You robbed somebody. The police came and picked you up at your mom's house at 36 years old, your mom's apartment, apartment C. At 41 years old, you beating somebody up at your mom's house and strangling them. And you get 2 years for that. Ain't that a trip? Ain't that a trip? People who knowing that these type of people are hanging in the manosphere. You know what? There's a YouTuber right now ready to make a video to make an excuse about it. There's a YouTuber right now ready to make a video to say it don't matter what he did. Seriously, there's a black male YouTuber right now ready to make a video. You shouldn't put out his business like that. You shouldn't shame him for all of his court cases. Mr. Research, you've had court cases too. Man, I've had court cases when I was a teenager. And it was making money. Not out trying to take vagina from seventh graders. Not trying to take vagina from seventh graders. Who does that? I'm seriously, when you was a teenager and these young chicks came around you, man, go on, get up out of here. You a senior in high school and you with a seventh grader. And he lied and said he didn't do it. And then when somebody pulled out the documents on him, he finally said it was the women who didn't tell the truth. So Broke Jr. says, if he did that to my daughter, your presentation would be a little different. Community Solutions, men have been coddled. They don't know how to work. Yeah, get out there and compete against the white man. Community Solutions, one male YouTuber told me the other day, popular male YouTuber, he told me, we can't even worry about white supremacy until we get the women right. Community Solutions. This popular male YouTuber made a video about me and said, we can't worry about white supremacy as black men until we get the women right. That's what the problem is. That's what the problem is. Jeremiah said it comes down to not being held accountable his whole life. Exactly. And then when we're in here in these spaces, when we're here in these spaces in the manosphere and stuff like that, we know this stuff goes on. And what do? We make excuses for it. That's the part I want you guys to understand. We sit up here and make excuses for it. So let me read to you some people who was on this guy's comment section, cheering this stuff on. Now, here's a video Tito has called his video, dressing like a criminal, like he's normally doing, Stay away from solutions for the black community. A rapist is telling you to stay away from solutions for the black community. Check that out. Stay away from, but see, guess what? We invite him. Now, in this video, he only got one comment. Let's see what the comments say. So when you say black women have a problem with black men, see, here's a dude got a problem with black men, and he up there choking them and strangling them. Because we weren't white men, you really mean it's because black men hold no power. So somebody said something real intellectual to the dude. He had no reply for that. So let's see one of his other little videos, because I saw a couple of people.
Was in response to it.
Now here you see him in the basement. Every video this guy did, he was in the basement. Broke Genius says, after you start driving, the older you get, the more you notice that younger girls walk. They don't have cars. I have the name of those who is defending him. Well, Tito, Big J, if you want to say it, man, you're free to say it. But let's read some of these comments. Mr. Damplex, damn, Tito, good to see you back. Now, this is after you know that he's a rapist. Do you have any vids where you debunking myths about black love? Here, this is a guy knowing that he's a racist. Another dude, the real Tito. This is after they know he's a rapist. Bringing back the old gems. Comment after you know he's a rapist. No shame in the black male space. Knowing this guy's a rapist, haven't seen the documents, y'all still cool with it. Mama boys like Kevin Durant get promoted though. That man hardcore. Good to hear from you again. See? A guy go by the name of Made In. Yes, my dude is back. He's black. Glad to see you, bro. General Tito in the fresh. Salute to you, big brother. Where you been? You know where he been. Fighting his court case. The audience miss hot plasma. No. Now this has no. Now please understand, this has nothing to do with being jealous. I'm a free man. I haven't been going through nothing. Dana, what are your thoughts? Go ahead. Dana, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I had to unmute myself. I didn't realize I was muted. I'm glad you're talking about this. And I went to his page just now and I noticed it's no recent videos, been from 2 years ago, maybe because he is, like you said,
he's
locked up. Yeah. But this is what needs to be talked about. And I hope you continue to expose and talk about people like this, men or women in our community, because we need to have more of these discussions and out these people, because for me, this is something that's Black people always brush under the table.
Dana. Hold on, Dana. Stop for a minute. Stop talking. 9 people hit the like button, and then we'll get Dana talking again. We got to put Dana on pause because you guys are not hitting the like button. So we're going to talk about this some more. We're waiting for 9 people to hit the like button. Hold your thoughts, Dana. We're waiting for 7 more people to hit the like button. 5 more people to hit the like button. Waiting for you. We'll continue talking after 5 more people hit the like button. Six more people. 1 person took his away. All right, go ahead, Dana.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, we need to have these type of discussions because this is something that's not talked about in the Black community. It's like we're afraid to talk about it, to address it. We sweep it under the rug, and this is going on a lot, whether it's someone in your family or a predator, a stranger. A lot of this molestation, rape, sexual abuse, assault for men and women is going on a lot in the Black community, and it's harming children. And we don't talk about it. We don't out these people. For anything, you find some people, particularly Black people, protecting them. So I appreciate you talking about this, and hopefully it's more content. It'll be more content on YouTube on subjects like these, outing people out.
Well. The main thing is we have to understand that a lot of people are pretending on the female side too. A lot of people are
Right.
pretending. There's not a lot of people as much as you and I bump heads or you bump heads with other people. You're logical, or you try to be. You see what I'm saying? I'm logical, or I try to be. But we got a lot of people in our community. They're broken people,
Right.
and they're in our community because they won't be allowed in the Asian community. They won't be allowed in the upper class bourgeois community. They're down here with us. And what I'm saying a lot of times is, I can't protect that, Dana. If somebody goes against a person like this, beats them across the head or whatever they do to, this is an anti-Black to me.
Right.
This ain't a Black person no more.
You're not even a person.
Right. You've turned in your Black card. So so this is why, like out here in California, when Stephen Clark got beat up or shot by the police, we didn't care. Because Stephen Clark was exposed on Facebook making a bunch of anti-Black statements. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on
Well,
that?
I know in California, wasn't it a law just passed in California that says something to the effect, if someone is 15 or 14, that's considered consensual sex. If the
Oh,
person is over 18.
so this gay white guy came from Pennsylvania. And this is why I try to tell Black men, stop sitting at the safety of your job. Try to apply for some government shit. Because what these low class whites and Asians do, and the Indians are starting to do it now, they seek out counties that nobody's contesting. And they try to get some type of appointment into the city. So the guy from Pennsylvania, he came out to California. He went to some little district was nobody paying attention to. And the first thing he did was promote a bill that said, if a gay, keyword gay, not just heterosexual, but this is for gay people only. If a gay person within 7 years and the same sex messes with a child, they should not be put on the sex offender list. What are your thoughts?
Why can't I unmute?
Yeah, you good. You good. I got you. Yeah, hit it again.
You can hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. Yeah, rock out. What are
Oh
your
my
thoughts?
God. Yeah, my phone. That's sickening. And what they always say, whatever goes on in California, so does the rest of the country.
Right.
So it's just a matter of time where we're going to see it in New York next, in New Jersey, and I'm pointing to these big Democratic states. That's not good. And where was the uproar from parents, Black
We
or
didn't know.
white?
We didn't know. It happened under the radar because it happened in his little county. And nobody really knew until the vote was already done.
And is that for just that county or for the state of California?
For the state of California.
Right, and I have a problem with that. You know, I think this is another thing, and I'm just being specific, talking about Black people now, because we have a problem where we do not participate in the science of politics. That's participating in the science of politics, knowing that these crazy laws are being passed in your state, in your city, in your county, and we don't do anything about it because we don't care. Like, we're focused on BS, and we're not focused on family. We're not focused on protecting the children. We're not focused on what's important.
Do you see this white guy with the glasses?
I don't see anything because it looks like
Okay.
my phone is frozen.
Okay, no problem. So no, don't do nothing to it. The white guy with the glasses, when you see it in the playback, he's the one that passed the law. He's a gay guy from Pennsylvania. Couldn't get that thing passed in Pennsylvania because those white folks stick together and they don't want none of that gay stuff going on. So he moved to California, found the little county that wasn't nobody paying attention to, and got elected.
Yeah, I just pulled it up on my laptop. I see him. And that's what I'm saying. Like, this LGBTQ, AI, whatever agenda is real. And, it's already infiltrated in the Black community. And
this is why I tell people we don't have time to be fighting each other.
Right.
There's real stuff happening, but like somebody told me the other day, Mr. Research, you in your own world. No, I'm in reality. You just won't know until you like some of these old men who don't have the ability to work no more, and they just living in a rooming house or an apartment and struggling. You won't realize how much you've wasted. Go ahead, Dana, and then we'll go to MC Worker. Go ahead, Dana.
Right. So when they say you're in your own world, no, you are in reality, but people don't want to live in reality. So they look at us like we're the crazy ones. And that's scary. And also, just to swing back as far as the manosphere, I'm glad you brought this up, because you see, when you sit up here and you partake in these gender wars and you focus on all the negative stuff with Black women, and Black women focus on the negative stuff with Black men, you let men like this, well, he's not a man, you let people like this slip through the cracks, and we want to be we want to be caught up in the illusion of, oh, someone is speaking facts or whatever. No, it's a lot of sick individuals out here and you don't even see it. You know what I'm saying? And you're praising them. So to me, tonight's topic is two things. When we're talking about protecting children and talking about rape, sexual assault, molestation in the community, and then we're talking about this manosphere, even a woman's sphere, this gender wars that's going on, and it needs to stop. But you could go ahead, because I want to say other stuff, but I'll just save it. Hello?
Dana, I can hear you. I was on mute. Shout out to ETM. He says he's going to do a video about this type of stuff. For anybody that wants to contribute financially, they go to links to the thing, because this conversation we don't normally have, and this ain't me trying to shame nobody. This person is not a human being to me when they doing all the stuff that they doing. Let me read a couple of chat room things, and then we'll go to MC Worker. Community Solutions, there's a lot of men and women in our community down for child prostitution. Yeah, Community Solutions. I was surprised at the grandmothers that were recently caught sexually abusing their grandsons. Let me say it again. I was surprised. See, this is something Cynthia G will not talk about. This is something Crystal Carrison will not talk about. I was surprised at all the grandmothers that were caught sexually abusing their grandsons. It's crazy out here. Broke Genius says we getting 100% audience participation from a poor guy in his mom's basement. Right. This is the crazy thing. These dudes are celebrating the dude that's in his mom's apartment basement. It's the most hilarious thing. MC Worker, go ahead, sir.
This is, like I said in the chat, this is ridiculous. Um, and see, the thing is, what you said earlier is not talked about, which is that's the problem. These type of things do need to be talked about because we know as Black people as a culture, there's certain things that always get swept under the rug, and unfortunately, this is one of them. But pertaining to this community of YouTube, this is something that should not be swept under the rug. And it's not so much as to expose anyone or to look down or make someone feel bad. It's more so to protect our Black image. Because at the end of the day, here on YouTube, that is when we show, whether you show your face or not, what you say and what you do reflects on everyone, in particular to this community, in this space.
Mr. Research?
Okay, I'm sorry. I was on mute again. Let me read off a couple of these offenses. First, you violate the Sexual Registration Act. You ducking for being registered. Like I was wondering how this dude was working, and they didn't know he was a sexual offender. Then you had the conviction with the weapon. Okay, and then you had the aggravated assault with the strangling. Why are you strangling a woman? Shouldn't you be walking away from this chick? Shouldn't you be telling her, get out of my pad? Oh, you can't do that because it's your mama's house. So are you strangling your mom? Are you strangling the girl? That's crazy. That's really crazy. So that's how I'm looking at it, you guys. It's but I'm gonna play one of the old videos from some people had put out a long time ago. I just find it real interesting.
This morning before I went to work, he seen Tito is his channel because he's the criminal. I'm not, and I'm trying to keep myself legal and not going to jail. Would I like for there to be an annual 1-day purge? Yeah, then I might go and get him.
Now, this guy that's talking, ironically, was a dude who used to defend Tito until Tito started attacking him. What are your thoughts, Dana?
Yeah. What? Wait. What is he saying? A 1-day purge to do what?
He's back at that time. He was talking about there needs to be a purge of these type of idiots who can't stop harassing people. Because he used to be a fan of Tito, and he used to harass. I mean, he used to be on Tito page all the time. And then he used to defend Tito until Tito turned against him and started harassing the dude. So then the dude started putting out this type of video. I'll let you hear a little bit more of what he was talking about.
I have blocked her, and they both, all the time. You see what I'm saying? I left it on my phone. I have something to say here, and I don't care if you listen or not. They both of these people, you see, at this point, these two crazy people online that won't leave me alone. You know, I'm a human being. I have emotions. I get stressed out sometimes. I get pissed off.
So what he's talking about there is Tito had connected with some girl from Scotland, some black girl. I mean, some white woman from Scotland who, she was just really into his presentation. And she was supporting the dude, thinking he was a real stand-up dude until she realized all the charges he had, and then she left him alone. But that just goes to show, like I tell people all the time, white women overseas, they're not used to a lot of that power. They're not used to a lot of that coolness. And when you a dude and you got it, it's not like USA women. Those women gravitate toward that stuff quick. But what they don't like is women abusers. They don't like the stereotype black man. So, but let's go to Dana. Dana, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, so this guy was defending him after he came aware of those sexual allegations?
No, he left him alone, and then Tito started attacking him.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying now. He was just defending his content prior to that. Um, I just, you know, I don't know. I just honestly, let me just say this, and I'm generalizing it, but I'm disappointed in black men, and I'm talking about from lower level, mid level, high level. I'm just disappointed in black men overall. Um, and I'm just focusing here in America because there is so much more you could be doing with your time, especially if you're on YouTube. You know, there's so much building, organizing, collaborations that you could be doing, networking that you're not doing. You're so focused on women, if they're single mothers or if they're slim or whatever, just stupid shit. And then you call yourself a man and you don't know how to lead. You're not protecting women. You're not protecting children. So I'm just disappointed in black men. I
Well,
will say that.
here's the problem, and we might as well dig into this. Hold on, before I go into that, 7 people hit the like button. Can we get 7 people hit the like button? And then me and Dana are going to get into this conversation about whether black men should be protecting and things of that nature. So I'm going to wait for 7 people to hit the like button.
Sick of slow charging? Use Anchor Nano instead.
7 people, 7 people. Come on, hit this like button. Come on, 2 more people, 2 more people. Let's hit this like button. Let's get at it. Appreciate it. So, Dana, here's the thing. And I'm going to ask MC Worker before we go back to you, Dana. But here's the thing, MC Worker. There's a lot of dudes who are available for black women. Hell, I'm looking for a dark-skinned woman. But women too many times are picking dudes who have not done what you've done, MC Worker. They haven't gotten a real career or a halfway decent job. So if Dana's disappointed with black men, MC Worker, I got to say this. Why are the black women dealing with dudes who need their help? Why should you not do like other women do and go for the top tier dudes, no matter how boring they are, no matter whether they penises don't work, Dana, no matter, you know what I'm saying? Shouldn't Dana, well, not Dana, but shouldn't the women be going for these dudes who got something established? It don't mean that they good men, but shit, they got 50% of their problems solved. MC Worker?
Well, from my acknowledgement, it's because with many black women, in particular, because that's who I mostly date, but with really, in this case, black women, it's because with some in their mind, it's a power struggle. They have this fantasy that, well, I can have this guy who I can control, but at the same time, when it's time for him to be upstanding and be a quote unquote man, then he'll be able to do that. But in reality, that's never the case. That's never how it works. It always comes out to be it always comes out to be something totally different than what they may see in their mind.
Interesting. Well, let me go ahead.
I'm sorry. Well, what I mean is too is that okay, so like, and then too, you part of the reason also too as well, and this is not to talk down black women because we black men definitely have our issues too as well. But a lot of times, too, a lot of women have been fed through this culture that you can get a guy who gets you excited, and he'll do what you want him to do because he'll be beholden to you. And so with that way you be able to have the kind of the dad then go over the carrot over his head, so to speak, as opposed to. I'm sorry.
I said, "Oh, okay, I understand."
Right. So, as opposed to saying, "Hey, look, You need to find a man, a guy, black guy, if so, who wants to take on the position of leadership roles and be able to really do something with you in life, have something, want something out of life,
Yeah,
not just be from the.
that should be the major focus. They don't really do it though. Let me address something in the chat room. Yes, the lady known as Omega Courtney did admit on BMT show that she dated a minor. Okay. So Selena Gomez dated a guy when he was 17. For many of you who don't remember, Rihanna was 20 and Chris Brown was 16 when he hit her in several times in the car. Yet and still, he was a minor. Chief Keef was a minor and had at 16 had a baby with a 33-year-old woman, but the judge would not put the 33-year-old woman in jail. Instead, the judge forced Chief Keef to pay the 33-year-old woman child support. Black China made a porno with a 16-year-old boy and never went to jail. It happens on the women's side too. But let's go to Dana with the data and get her rebuttal on everything me and NC Worker said.
Yeah, I mean, no, I understand what y'all saying, and I agree with what you're saying. But where I'm coming from is, I'm not talking about, when I say I'm disappointed in black men, I'm not talking about a relationship that they have with black women. I'm not talking about marriage. I'm not talking about none of it. I'm not even talking about family. I'm talking about the disappointment in black men because there are not enough black men. There are more black males than there are black men. Before you make a baby, before you have a girlfriend or a wife or a family, you have to be a man. You have to be a leader, and you have to know to call out the bullshit in the community. Because if you, and this, I'm generalizing it. I don't never make stuff personal because what I do see and what I do hear, especially from the younger generation, they're so focused on what a woman should be doing for them. Why? Because you was born with a penis? It doesn't work like that. Manhood is earned. Worried about if I got edges or not, that doesn't make you a man. Actually, it's the opposite of that. Or if you worried about if she's a single mother or not, or what other stuff they be complaining about with women. First of all, your focus should never be women. See, that's what I mean by the disappointment. So when I say I'm disappointed in black men, it has nothing to do with your relationship history. It has to do with everything else but that. And also, when you mention Mr. Research how women, they date, you may say lower grade men and not the higher tier. You could be in the higher tier as far as income and still be a male and still be an asshole and still be a sicko. I'm talking about the quality of your character.
But the problem is, though, what I'm trying to say to the audience, that doesn't hold water no more, Dana. I understand, yes, any human being can be that. But when it comes to safety and stability, majority of the low producing dudes don't have what the established dudes have.
But what is low producing to you?
Low producing is dudes that need a woman to go 50-50. Any dude that says the magic word, work with a brother, or I'm trying to be 100, he need help.
Right. But there are men that make high six figures, and there are some men that make high six figures and they have that 50-50 mentality. So that's what I'm saying. It's the quality of the man. So I agree with what you're saying, but that there's no income limit with men who think that way.
I have never met a man in all my travels who made over 80 who talks 50-50. You may
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're out there. So that's why I'm generalizing it. Mm-hmm. Because I've known men who make 40K, they have excellent credit, they have an excellent investment portfolio, right? They're worth probably 200K. And they have in their character as a man, right? As opposed to
wait. If their net is 200, then the 40 doesn't matter.
No, I said their worth. Their worth, like your assets and everything could be worth 200, but your income could be 40K.
Right. Your income is a temporary thing. It's always about your net worth, your assets. It's always about your house, your car, your portfolio, your time, your timeshare. The money you make means never really means nothing. That's why even Kevin Samuel says on his channel, the money doesn't mean anything. It's just that you got to have it
We
because
all gotta have it.
no, for a man it's worse because most
Right.
dudes that don't have it are the most dudes that are complaining. See, that's what a lot of times y'all.
Yeah, I get what you and I don't mean to interrupt you real quick, but just for the record, I really don't quote anything Kevin Samuel say, and I really don't quote anything from somebody on YouTube that do not have a a paper saying that they're specializing and certified in this field, just for the sake of this conversation. So,
Okay, well, let me say this: It- when we when
hi,
we try,
Robbie.
when we try to talk with women, and the only thing that's always said is maybe, if, and possibly, then we can't. Then it's hard for us to have a conversation because from a man's standpoint, we're telling you as a high producer, this is what we see from Atlanta to Chicago to Seattle to Cali. But when a woman says, but that don't mean, you're giving way to the low producers. I'm just saying. I mean, you're still at, it's still your theory and you still living by your thing. But we as dudes are trying to tell you this is why a lot of us dudes who do well, we don't mess with regular chicks. We don't mess
But
with chicks.
for the sake of clarity, that's what I'm saying. That's why I asked the question. When you're saying low producer or whatever, like, what is your definition of that? Because some people, some people do think when you say low producer, they're automatically talking about how much somebody makes.
Yeah, it isn't just about the make. It's about what you're achieving in life as a guy just out here on your own. Are you killing dragons? Or
Right.
are you running away with the women?
May I say something real quick?
Go ahead, MC.
Thank you. Um, that's also because too, men and women are judged differently. It is not to say that how we're judged is bad. It's just how it is. It's just how the culture is. I'm speaking as a man. Men are we're judged off the produce the things that we do in life and what we have done. I mean, no one remembers the water boy that gave the quarterback water, but everyone knows the quarterback. And there's a reason for that. It's because you know who he is. And so, as men, how we're judged and how our name is put down in history, so to speak, is by what we do and what we have to show for it.
Right. Absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. My disappointment is I don't see enough of that, like in the black community with black men. And I'm just if we're just talking about black men, and I could say something about black women too, but just for the sake of being specific with black men, that's where when I'm saying disappointment, I don't see enough of that exactly what you just
Well, I'm
said.
gonna tell you why I don't do it is because I'm not protected. And when I try to do exactly what you would like for us to do, I'm put on the chopping block. I done seen way too many dudes try to do that type of stuff and end up getting fired, jail. I remember I saw this dude on the Atlanta bus years ago protect these two women and stop this dude from harassing these two women. This dude was just overly harassed. It was all on videotape too. And when he stepped up to protect these two women, when the police came, they didn't even speak up for this guy. They just let him get arrested. That type of stuff, man. I don't know. I don't know. Go ahead, Dana.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know. It's just like it seemed like we always revert back to the man and woman conversation because I look at it. I thought my son was 21. He had to remind me he's 22. But like for someone like my son age, I would recommend for him to, instead of you wanting a family or focusing on building for a family, you need to study the art of war. So and I'm a woman, I'm not a man. But me listening, let's say to a Judge Joe Brown, to you, Mr. Research, even hearing NC Worker tonight, the main thing y'all say is produce, produce. And in order to produce, especially here in America, that's difficult for a black man. You have to have the networking, you have to have support, you have to have an organization. And I feel as though amongst black men, it has to be a positive collaboration in order to produce at a high level. So and you have to understand the art of politics and the art of war, right? And
Right.
that is before you even incorporate a woman. And I always say that men and women need to be separated up until a certain point.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to read a couple of things in the chat room. Raw B, I know you got here. I just need to hear this technical thing from D Darrell before he disappear. Let me read a couple of chat room things. Shout out to one of my favorites, Tyra Richburg, great mother of sons. Mr. Entanglement said some people think 30-year-old with an 18-year-old is a problem. They only think it's a problem when it's a 30-year-old man. If it's a 30-year-old woman, they call it a cougar and they celebrate it. So that just is what it is.
That's because she's teaching him this research.
There you go. Corey says, I work in a juvenile detention center. I see this go on all the time, messing with young boys. Single mothers raise them, is what Entanglement said. Did I lose Mr. D. Darrell? Mr. D. Darrell. Okay. So, Mr. D. Darrell, before I go to Raw B, go ahead and give me this breakdown of what causes. Well, you know what? Before I do that, I got to clean up something. What is a MAGO?
Was Mr. Research, and that's
SYSBM
for that's SYSBM jargon for black men who actually love black women and want to keep the community intact. That's basically what it is. They feel like if you're a black man in America, you have to be stupid to want to basically save the daggle, which is basically. Well, actually, Maggle actually is the women. Yeah, Maggle is actually the women, and Daggle is actually the men. So, the Maggle is basically a female who they feel is not feminine, who basically is the typical Black American woman. The
what is a strag?
The strag is basically the same thing, just another derogatory statement that's negative towards black women.
I'm too busy fighting white people in the office to be on that type of stuff. Anyway,
it's sophomore language.
So
that's high school stuff, man.
Let me ask you this, man. You know my profession. You know how stressful my profession is, man. So somebody was like, "Well, if your profession's so stressful, how you could be on YouTube?" Dude, I just balance life. That's what that is. Let me ask you this, D Darrell, before I go to Raw B. When you're dealing with somebody like Mr. Terrence Shaw, formerly known as Hardcore Tito, rapist, pulling a gun, robbing somebody at 36 while he living with his mama, 41 years old, domestic violence at his mama's house, apartment C. I don't know if he was strangling his mama or strangling some girl, but what this person comes back and hides in the manosphere. What is it, D. Darrell, from your clinical point of view, that causes the fans to not realize that this person is a detriment to all things good?
The reason, man, I'm gonna say this, man. I am still this phenomenon of Black YouTube is something that I've been studying for the last 5 years because I didn't even know this existed, and unfortunately, Mr. Hardcore Tito, which I actually did watch some of his stuff. I wasn't a fan of his, but I did watch, particularly when I first got into the sector back in 2016. I would watch maybe 1 or 2 videos a month here and there from Tito. I wasn't really a big fan, but I would watch them. And what you saw from Hardcore Tito was basically someone that was somewhat reflective of his viewers. I mean, you've talked all the time about certain people in this particular sect being low producers, people who are not necessarily achieving certain things and so forth. And you have to understand from my research over the last 4 years, looking at the typical black male YouTuber, a lot of these black male YouTubers are underachievers. They're unemployed. They don't have their own. They're not independent. Some of them are in the lines of incels. Some of them are also social deviants, and a lot of them are very inadequate, particularly when it comes to women.
Well, let me ask you this: how can you be 41, still living with your mom, and making videos about?
And that's and again, as I repeated, this is basically um indicative of people such as hardcore Tito, because many of the people who were viewing and supporting him have similar lifestyles. So of course they're going to be relatable to the same type of person. So you wonder why, how could they continue to support? The reason why a lot of these guys can continue to support, because they were into some of the same things. They lived a very similar lifestyle. They lived a very maladaptive type of lifestyle, and they engage in the same type of behaviors as this same guy. That's
Okay,
why they were so willing to forgive and forget and overlook what he did.
Bear with me for a minute. I'm gonna come right back to you, I promise, and let you say what you originally wanted to say. But I'm gonna go to Raw B. Raw B, what do you feel about all this? And why do some women call these type of guys black men? I would call them black parasites.
I wouldn't know them to call them anything. This story is sad, but is it shocking? No. It's a lot of toxic mentality on this platform. So why are we surprised? Everybody follows everybody because somebody has a catchy phrase, or they can draw a big crowd. That's what social media is for. People don't really care about the monster behind the glass.
And all this gray hair on this guy, you would think he would have learned some type of. It's like he's still trying to make up for the 17-year-old kid that raped the 7th grader.
Nah, gray hair don't got nothing to do with it. We see criminals in the, in the jail system right now. They got gray hair on their heads. Gray hair is not always wisdom.
Let me ask you and Dana this question. Do you think him being raised by the single mom and the mom just keeping him at the house all that time, you think that kind of maybe contributed? Because we as black men tend to think that sometimes. Here's a person who never got nothing on his own. He never got an apartment on his own. Every time he got arrested, it was at his mama's house.
I don't know.
Well, that's sorry.
All right. I don't know, because I went to college with this guy. He was black. He was raised in a 2-family home, and he was a whole serial killer. He was hiding bodies in the wall. So single parent doesn't mean anything. A person is who they are. There is some, conversation about nature versus nurture, but inherently, if you're an evil person, you're going to do evil things.
Wow. Dana?
Yeah, I agree with what Robbie just said, because she's a single mother because the father wasn't there, So where's dad? I always ask, where's dad? And men get defensive. Well, why are you getting defensive? Because that is a factor. Whether you married her or not, you can still be there for your child. So when you say, is it a result? And that's a fair question, I would say, but it's an overused question. And we need to change that narrative. Like, I have a problem when that's a lot of people, especially on YouTube, that's their only narrative that they try to fall back on. And you can't use that no more. Because if I ask you, where's dad, and you get defensive, then you are the problem as to why this man turned out the way he is. And then also, he could have been molested growing up. Maybe the mother had to work and left him with someone thinking she could trust somebody, and he was probably molested. That happens a lot too. So you can't say it's because of single mother. Not saying that you were saying it. I'm generalizing it. You have to equate the fact of, where is dad?
Well, that's interesting. NC worker?
No, I think it's a valid question that needs to be answered.
Well, the where is dad thing, you know, I would love to, because I've been talking to some racist Republicans trying to, because the Democrats won't help when it comes to black fathers. The only people who have helped so far, like the guy in Chicago, is these racist Republicans. They are helping black men. I would like to create a bill where the father can go into family court and say, look, I don't want no welfare. I'm not applying for anything. You could take him off the welfare that she has. I'll take on all the financial responsibility. Just make me primary custodian.
He could do that now.
Court, yeah,
You
can do that now. Yes, you can. But you know what you need. You need a lawyer, and a lot of men can't afford lawyers. And if you can't afford a lawyer, then you shouldn't be out here making kids.
The young gentleman, Danny Ruel, that's on my StreamYard, he has sole physical custody of his daughter, and he went through the courts and he got it. So yes, you absolutely can.
Right. There are a lot of men who are winning now. Yeah.
And I have another friend who's the father of twins, and he went to court and got sole physical custody of them too.
Then a lot of times they're getting not sole, but a lot of times they're getting joint. It's no primary, it's joint custody.
Joint is not. It's not joint custody the way you think it is.
I'm talking about. I see. What joint custody could mean joint making of decisions, and one parent is a primary resident parent, but you see your child the equal amount of time as the other parent. So joint physically and joint as far as making decisions. Yes, I've seen that. And depending on what state you in, because different states have different laws, and at the same, and then if you have one of those states that just automatically side with the mom, then you as a man, you need to make sure you can't afford a lawyer. And when you just said that Democrats don't help black men, but you're talking to racist Republicans, how about this? Stop asking for help and do for yourself. If black men work together, you don't have to ask no Republicans or no Democrats to help you. You're going to demand what is rightfully owed to you. See, we need to stop asking people for help and start demanding what we need.
That is a statement without actual explanation to it. There is more.
No, I just gave you an explanation.
What you mean?
When we're talking about child support court, I don't need no Republican to help me when it comes to my child. If I have it's an organization that was an organization in New Jersey, I forgot the name of it, that men, no politicians, men came together and they networked and they organized together. I believe they did hire a lawyer, and they pushed to have the child support laws change because the men were getting railroaded in the state of New Jersey. See, these are men coming together, organizing and demanding a change. See, that's where it starts. Not with no politicians. Why no government handout?
I hear you guys telling me that it doesn't work like that, but as an actual guy, I'm telling you there are things that you ladies may not really be clear about when it comes to a guy going against $1 million system. Number one,
how is it any different from a woman when you have mad mothers against drunk drivers? That was mothers coming together, going against $1 million system to get laws passed, not in one state, but multiple 50 states across this country.
And let's not forget the Black Panthers who established the WIC Foundation, which is still running today. That was black men that got together and went against $1 million establishment. Black men have simply lost the fight since they killed Martin Luther King and Malcolm X.
Since I can't talk, I'm just going to let you guys tell us what it is, because every time I speak, I get interrupted. So you guys tell us what it is.
No, you was asking for the evidence.
No, I didn't ask for anything. I was making a statement.
But you just said what you said. What you said. What I said. You was like, I hear what you're saying, but you don't. You were basically saying I didn't have anything to really give an example to back up what I was saying, and I just gave it to you.
Right. You said it was a statement without an explanation.
Right. Yeah. That.
Okay. So you guys finished? Can I say my thing? Okay. So what I was trying to say was that when Mothers Against Drunk Drivers had white man Congress support, Even the Black Panthers had Jewish lawyers going in getting California Congress support. I grew up 2 blocks from where the Panthers used to unite, so I know all about that. I do hear what you guys are saying in theory, and in practicality, I will even say we as black men need to financially get together because, to Dana's point, see, I can be fair. To Dana's point, black men are not financially coming together. They're falling in love with just talking. So I do get Dana's point on that. But you do need somebody in Congress to lobby for these laws. It just doesn't happen, or you got to have deep pockets to hire somebody to lobby for these laws.
I
Because
don't
the
disagree with you on that.
because a lot of black dudes, and this goes to Dana's point again. Raw B might have forgotten this part, but you do have to have 3 to 5 G's on deck just to start a case. While the lady, depending on whether she's applied for a WIC or welfare, she's getting a lawyer for free. And the minute she gets a lawyer for free, that lawyer is fighting for the child based on that state assistance, and she's
Well,
not paying for that lawyer. So just having that financial disparity is a problem for a lot of black men. But many guys, when they put their penis in a woman, don't realize it is a financial thing. My last point is this is why I tell dudes marriage is a business. Sticking your penis is a business. It's all a business. And you got to understand that, to the ladies' point. Go ahead, ladies. You had a last word, and then I'm going to go back to Dito.
I
Okay,
just want to say real
so
quick.
go ahead, Dana.
I just want to say real quick. You're right. You have you do lobby politicians, but you have to once you organize and you bring your money together, then you lobby the politicians, because that's when the politicians have no choice but to listen to you. You just can't come in there with one or two. You have to come in there with an organization. So that's why it's important to organize, then demand, no asking, then demand from your local politicians. But part of organizing is bringing your money together. Now, I'm pretty sure everyone on this panel will agree that us black folk, we have a problem putting our money together, organizing and putting our money together, but we're quick to put our money in the damn church, but not to organize to get systemic change.
Right. And then to piggyback off of that, the Black Panthers got together and they got their lawyers, but they got together. That's number one. But as far as mothers just automatically getting attorneys, let's correct that information. Children get appointed law guardians, not the parent. And that's only in cases where there is accusation of harm or intent. Mothers going down to child support court do not automatically get attorneys. But then again, that would be if you have a child with a woman that is not of low value and has a career and has a job and makes money. People make these broad sweeping statements like all black women is just so poor and just in such a bad position that they automatically qualify for all of these things. And that's simply not true. There's a lot of fathers out here that are single fathers that actually are on the system as well, that qualify for assistance, that also are afforded the opportunity to get law appointed, attorneys and what have you. So if we're going to be fair, let's say what it is. People that have low income at or below the poverty level are able to get certain governmental assistance. People that are above that poverty threshold are not. And as to Dana's earlier point, if you're going to be having children, you should not be at or below the poverty level. It's not fair to the children.
Thank you, ladies. And I'll say this: I met one guy in my entire lifetime who actually got on welfare from the government, and he had to take the state to court just to get it. So to each their own. Some people say it's easy. I've never met a guy who could just fill out the paperwork and get it. But D. Durrell, you've been holding for a while. You want to say something earlier? What are your thoughts, sir?
What I'm gonna say is that I've done the family court stuff. I've been paid to consult and testify, and it's very difficult for a black man to get, or any man to get, sole custody. From what I've seen, Um, the only times these are the scenarios that I've seen in which black men or white men or any men of any demographic were able to get custody of their children, and it had to basically be on them proving that the woman was unfit. It wasn't about proving whether or not he could do a better job at parenting. It was more about proving that she was unfit than he actually being the better parent. And in those particular scenarios, it involved the woman either having some history of abusing the children, some type of illness that caused or disability that hindered her ability to be to function as a parent, or there were drugs involved, things of that sort. Those were usually the main of the few men that I've seen that were able to get their children. It usually was about them proving and spending a bunch of money. Uh, those were the scenarios that I found that men were able to be successful in in um in obtaining custody of their children. Now, uh, I have a cousin, a first cousin, is actually a lawyer, and he does family court. He does family law and so forth. And the main thing that he told me in regards to what particularly for black men is that most black men don't seek joint custody, or they don't seek to get as much time as they can with their children, because you taking care of your child can actually equal to less child support payments. If you get your child 3 to 4 days a week or and so forth, or it's 50-50 in regards to 1 week rotating and so forth, the child support is not as high. What most black men typically do is that once the child support is filed, they don't seek, they're not seeking to fight for their rights hard enough. They're just basically settling for, okay, this is the amount of child support I'm getting. I'll see them on the weekend and things of that sort, and that's it. When they actually have the right to seek for more time. And in his, he's been a lawyer for over 10 years, and he said that that's just not most black men don't fight for more time, because when you fight for more time to be with your child, you actually pay less in child support. Is a equation or whatever that goes to that
It's a
contributes to
scale,
that.
right?
Yeah, scale
Right.
and so forth. So that to me is the issue. Um, I also wanted to piggyback a little bit as we were talking about the particular guy that was the topic of the day's show video today. Um, I was going to mention that as you were talking earlier. While I was actually working, doing some paperwork, and you were talking about, you know, what contributes to someone doing these type of behaviors. And typically, for someone such as Hardcore Tito, I looking at the things that you said, particularly with the type of crimes that he committed, it would have me to lean, based on my experience, that most people that do engage in routine, repetitive um of breaking laws and so forth, particularly with violence towards others, and also engaging in sex offender type behavior, is probably highly likely that he was probably physically or sexually abused, or both. And in that process, he probably had a strained relationship with his mother, and probably had some issues with his father. And in that, um he became more in line to being influenced by other people, interacting a lot of other negative things. And so he doesn't have what I would say within a normal range of what a typical person in our community, as far as morality and so forth, in regards to knowing what to do and what not to do, right from wrong, wrong from right, or knowing, what a man is supposed to do and not supposed to do. So his whole outlook as far as following rules, regulations, and so forth may not be the same for the average person in our community that can somewhat control impulses and differentiate between what they should and should not be doing. And so this is probably what led to him repetitively doing a variety of things. Also, as far as the violence of him strangling a family member or so forth, is indicative of him probably having some type of sociopathic behavior that may be in line with disorders such as personality disorders such as narcissistic personality disorder or antisocial personality disorder. In his position, based on what you listed, I would be leaning more towards antisocial personality based on the level of violence and so on. But to me, as I talked to you earlier, this is somewhat indicative to a lot of people in this space. A lot of people in this space have these particular issues are similar. There are a lot of broken people. There are a lot of people who have suffered a lot of different things, and YouTube serves as an outlet to deter away from reality because of their inability to cope with the issues that they have dealing with day to day from a psychological standpoint. So what better way for me to not deal with things is to produce a persona of myself, become popular with it. This is the first time I've ever been successful at anything. I got views, I got people donating to me, I'm getting admiration. Why not try to attempt to get something like that on an online where I don't necessarily have to be who I really am?
I can't wait for that 50-page book on on this black YouTube crap. Bro Speak, I'm gonna put you on, I'm gonna take myself out. Broke Genius, go ahead and speak, sir, and then we're gonna go back to MC Worker, then we'll go to Raw B Dana, and then we'll get to Bro Speaks. Broke Genius, what are your thoughts on everything being said, sir?
Yeah, so like this guy, whatever, Terrence Shaw, he actually is not too far because I'm in Chicagoland area, so he's like about 10 miles from me. I heard of his name, but I've not watched one video of the man. I heard of like his name, but I've never actually watched any of his videos. But um, it's just kind of somewhat like it's like comedy at the same time. It's serious because someone's daughter was raped by this basically disease rhinoceros pism, and he got away with it. And also and pretty much what the reason I say he got away with it, because I kind of, off the books or off the laws, I don't agree with the sentencing for pedophilia or rape,
Well,
and
see, my
You,
thing
you
is,
don't.
my thing is, we all do crimes, we all mess up, but
Mhm,
for you to repeat messing up and
mhm,
repeat messing up, that's really a problem. Go ahead,
mhm.
sir.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know the man. I don't really know what happened as far as the detail, but it sounds like yeah, like the other gentleman was saying, he had some type of fame on the web. And it just goes to show that you got people that actually like pretty much he's what I call a dummy with no money. So you got other people that probably are in the same ilk that actually, man, just center around people like this, and it's comedy, man.
Let me ask you this question: what do you feel about the people who said, "Mr. Research, why are you exposing his business"?
I mean, obviously, if you pull the layers back, chances are they're just like that. I mean, they're dummies with no money. I mean, dummies with no money, they hang out with who? Other dummies. So, you really, I mean, a lot of times growing up, everybody pretty much kind of either laughed at the dummy or really didn't take the dummy serious and really didn't pay attention to him. But it just kind of amazed me how so many people was paying attention to this guy that's pretty much a dummy. Okay, so in his basement, in his mom's basement, doing YouTube videos, getting views. I
Yeah,
mean,
great. Let me
so
put you on pause. We're going to go to Bro Speaks, and then we're going to start off with our last conversations, and we'll start off with Rob B. Let's go with Bro Speaks. Brother Speak, go ahead. Your thoughts on everything you heard tonight. But before you do, hold on. Community Solutions said top tier men don't want to settle down. Look, I'm an established man. We don't mind settling down, but my lady, nobody wants to just accept anything. And when you fought hard to have whatever it is you have, this concept of just dealing with anything just because somebody claims that they want to be together, marriage is hard work. Marriage is soul swallowing work. It ain't, and regardless of love, you got to not speak on certain things. You got to put the team first on all situations. And a lot of times people don't understand that. So dudes do want to settle down, but what does that look like? And if you're a woman who just want to show Dana and Raw B that you can kick your feet up, then you may not be the marriage type because you're living for the girlfriends and not necessarily for your team. Bro speaks. Go ahead, and then we're gonna go to Raw B. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've heard everything, and I'm not really surprised because let's be honest. People want to voice their pain, and they like people who voice their pain. And if they're good enough, more articulate than them to voice it, they'll support it regardless. So it's not really surprising. I mean, we just had a guy got exposed. Well, he exposed himself for being gay. Then he's saying that he was a heterosexual. Then he was a pro-black. Then he was with Black Manosphere. Now, had he not outed himself, nobody would have known all this. Then come to find out the same individual was up there chasing guys down, trying to get sex from them, and stalking a minor. So we have a bunch of these people hanging around in our spaces, and people will support them. You got females that will date these dudes, call them men. And when a guy comes out and say, "Hey, this ain't a man," that woman will try to tell him, well, "How are you going to say he's not a man?" So that's a lot of what I see. So it's not surprising that people are supporting him. It's just that, I mean, people want to voice their pain, and they want somebody who can articulate it better to voice it, and they will support it. So that's all it is.
Interesting. Okay, we're going on last looks. I started a new regiment, getting up at 4:00 in the morning to do my exercise before I go to work. So therefore, I got to go to sleep. Let's go with Raw B. We're going to go on our last looks. NC Worker will be the last person, but we're going to go with Raw B. We're going to go with Dana D. Durrell, and we'll work it out like that. Raw B, teach us something. Whether it's this topic or anything, just give us some something to really wake up in the morning with.
All right. Well, this situation is heartbreaking, as many of these situations tend to be. But we have to start building up our values as a community, and that starts by celebrating the family. We have to all be pushing every day to be the best version of ourselves. Stop getting so caught up in these YouTube personalities that anything becomes shocking. You don't know anybody behind the glass. You know their representative. And, just do better. Pick better. Set expectations before the journey even starts. And Brother Speak, for your question that you have put in the chat, joint custody is something that parents should be doing. No parent should have sole custody because no children thrives and benefits with only half of the attention, affection, and love that they deserve. Both parents need to be all in so our children can have a better future. Everybody have a good night. I love y'all. Fly free because it's a privilege. Peace.
Peace. Real Dana, teach us something.
Yeah, great content tonight, and I want you to do more content like this because
Hey,
it's
you better come around here when I do it about women.
no, I am.
Okay.
This is what I was going to say. Yeah, women could get it too, but please do more because I love coming on your platform. And D. Durrell's too. You could actually have a conversation with mature people. Somebody in the chat, future something. I like what he said about marriage. To where he was basically saying, marriage. I was trying to pull it up.
He's a long time married guy, still married.
Right. He says marriage is having the maturity to not walk away so easily. Well said, perfectly said. Because so when I'm saying that when I say black men or black males is a disappointment, I'm really talking about the ones um that you're focused on the wrong things. And this we could do a part two when we talk about women, but when you stop focusing on the wrong things, and focusing on women is the wrong thing. Focus on yourself, focus on your community, your immediate family, like your parents. Just focus on being a better person and growing, evolving from a male to a man. Stop focusing on women's hair. you know um so and then also we need to start calling out predators in our community. We need to start shining a light on them and getting them up out the community. And part of being a man is doing that. So, and because we have a problem when we turn our head, we turn a blind eye to situations like this, and that needs to stop. And that's something that's going on a lot in the Black community. And I didn't want to believe it for so long, but we are the cause of our own problems.
Let me ask you this question because Bro Speak asked it. How many women do you think would want the father to have full custody?
Not a lot, for
Mm.
for multiple reasons, because you do have a lot of women. You do have women who are good mothers. So I'm not going to give you my child. No, we could co-parent together if we're not going to be under the same roof, or married or in a relationship. And then you also have mothers who definitely not going to give full custody, because that means they're not going to get any money from that man. So you have the mothers who are actual mothers, and then you have the women who are just trying to get as much money as possible. So it's very little, probably 1% will actually agree for sole custody, less than 1%.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, that was a good question though, but I appreciate you doing this, and definitely do more content. And it could be a part two where we do talk about Black women, because we need to address that as well.
Well, like I said, check the email, stay in rotation, and that's how we're gonna get down on that. Thank you very much, appreciate it. We're gonna go D Darrell, we're gonna go Bro Speaks, and then the last speaker will be MC Worker. D Darrell, give us your thought, teach us something, bless us with something.
What I like to say is that in regards to the person that was discussed, it's indicative of a lot of issues in which our community tends to have an inability to hold people accountable, to the point that we have to not feel like we have to include everybody into the community. Due to the fact of us as a community, and all the things that we have historically been through, we tend to have this disposition that we have to include everybody within our group to make us feel whole, and assert to be so inclusive, and so on. And we have to have some check and balances where, when you basically rob someone of their innocence, or you do something that is outside of the morality of what we know our community is capable of doing, you have to get out of the community and never come back. Uh, Unfortunately, like you've talked about, like with the Italian mafia and the Italians and so forth, they have their ways of doing it. Other groups have their ways of outing people out. They never can come back. I just think that one of the biggest reasons why our community is failing in so many respects is because we allow a lot of these toxic people to continue to stay in the community and disrupt it. And a person like this should not be able to even be on YouTube. A person that has done the things he's done, that page should have been shut down. It should have been. It should, and also with YouTube, if they know something to be true and they know that this is uh, actually public information, these things need to be sought out. And once it is sought out and known to be factual, you should be ineligible to have a YouTube channel. So that's what I feel about that. I mean, I deal with people who do have these issues, whether you're the perpetrator or the victim. And then there are also positions in which, just like I'm particularly uh, probably inferring that he probably was a victim at one time, and then now he's become the perpetrator. But we can't continue to allow people like this to thrive and do things in the community. They need to be out in the community, and we need to rid ourselves of as many people as this as possible. Also, we need to also hold those who are accountable, who continue to support these type of people.
You know what? Let me ask this. Let me interject this question because I realize this is one of the questions that you've been having in your battle. And maybe it's where you and I have an understanding and people think I'm supporting D. Durrell. I don't believe an independent person who wants to be independent of the black community can be part of the black community at the same time just because they black. Because
exactly.
Because the problem I'm having with a lot of the conversations are you want to be around blacks just to say, aha, it ain't gonna work. But then something happens to you, then all of a sudden you get a bunch of people, well, he's black too. Y'all should risk your job to defend him. No. This person has said that they don't want no parts of the black community, so they should be going over to the Asian community asking for help.
Exactly. And they don't want to.
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts of that is indicative of a lot of toxic people that we have allowed to come into this entire space because they speak a certain ideology, a certain jargon, and so to speak. So let's just let them do that. I mean, you just pointed out how paradoxical that is to the fact of you're wanting to basically talk about and be in a space where you claim is not going to thrive, and you feel that you're in another space that tends to be superior, but in our essence, you're not going into that space to interact or fraternize with anybody.
Right.
You want to be in the space that you claim ain't worth a damn. So why are you here? And so the problem is that, again, those particular people that engage, and you one that made pointed examples of how we've had people that have this dilemma, particularly the swirlers and others on the men's side. They don't talk about the higher rate of divorce. They don't talk about the white man that they wanted that they never was able to land. They don't talk about the low hanging fruit level of guy that they choose.
They don't talk about the white man murders. They don't talk about the white man stealing money. They don't talk about none of this stuff.
They don't talk. And see, to me, I'm looking at them as a person. See, the difference between me and a lot of people, and this is why I'm not liked, is because I don't necessarily focus on the outer presentation, the facades that people put on. I look at the consequences of those facades. And see, when people come to therapy, I have to deal with the consequences. So you can get on here, talk about how happy you are with your Stargate. You're happy with this white guy or this Asian, whatever that someone likes to point out, never call black man, but call him these males and all this other different stuff. But you don't talk about the consequences of racism. You don't talk about the inadequacy of you trying to function in his side or her side of the family that's of the opposite race.
You know what? Somebody did a recent video with me that they went over a thing me and Game Changer was talking. And they said, Mr. Research versus Game Changer, own the vault versus get the bag.
Wow.
And I thought that was such a profound thing because that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Are people trying to own the land? I remember that movie, The Good Earth, about how they ran the Chinese or Vietnamese person away from the land, but they was trying to get them to sign. And they said, no, even if you kill me, our children can come back years later and still own this land.
Yep.
And that's something that a lot of people don't understand. 30 seconds, and then I got to go to Bro Speaks because he is slapping me upside my head, and I don't like abuse.
Yeah, but that was pretty much it. And I just think that this is a great video, great topic. I'm glad that you talked about this because I've actually did a video last week on sex offenders and people who are healing from sexual abuse, and we covered all the layers of that from the victim side and from the perpetrator side. And just keep up the good work, man. Look forward to seeing you on my platform when I go live over the weekend. So you have a good night.
Absolutely. Bro Speaks, sorry for the delay. Please don't hit me again. It is your turn.
Finally. Yeah, but
finally, Bro Speak has returned back to Brooklyn. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, but to me, it's just simple. You got hurt people who like people that can voice their pain and can do it eloquently, have a personality, and they'll fall for it. And everybody has a fan, unfortunately. And unfortunately, on YouTube, you have a big fan base of people that are hurt that you can use their pain against them to build yourself up. And it doesn't matter what your past is, or even with your past, they're still supported regardless. I mean, you got this guy. You had another guy that we talked about last week. He was going to all different spaces talking about he first he's Black Manosphere, now he pro-black, now he's this and that. Come to find out, all this dude was a piece of shit. So, and it's sad that we have unfortunately we have a lot of people who are pieces of shit who like to listen to somebody voice their pain, and they will continue to support them no matter what. So,
you know what? I don't want it to happen, but I saw it happen to France. I saw it happen to half of England. But England, they said bump that. They wasn't going to let it happen. I think the Indians are going to make it like we'll probably all be old when it happens. But the Indians are going to bring slavery back to America. The Indians and the Pakistanis, they're going to it's going to start with house cleaners. That's how it's going to start. Because it started like that in France and England when the Indians and Pakistanis start taking over. Because they still believe in that slavery concept. And people don't understand, whatever you getting paid right now, there's a guy over in India willing to take 25 cents on the dollar of what you're getting paid. Okay? Which will drive down the economy. But Black people will far the worse because Black people don't have the protection of unions no more like my parents had. So it's going to be an at will, at work type of thing. And lo and behold, watch this. When most Black dudes stop being able to get contracts, because see, they don't realize they take a lot of stuff for granted. Whether you're a trucker, whether you're in tech, software engineer, a lot of people are operating on contracts. When the Black man is not able to get a bunch of contracts no more, that's when he's going to realize what the hell is happening. Why are they not hiring me? This ain't right. Well, you haven't strengthened your EEOC, Black man. The Black woman is now getting her part of Democrat politics. So they're going to say, we treating Black people well. Look at these Black women we doing well. And you, the Black man, are going to be working with your hands. Nothing wrong with it. But you're going to find out that the pay is going to be lower for your grandson. And the only jobs that are going to be limited are going to be slave jobs. I guarantee it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And while all this is going on, we still we can't even get rid of pieces of shit out of our group.
Well, it's like I gotta address the Edward Anderson video he made about me, but it's like Edward said, well, we can't even address white supremacy until we get the women right. That's a futile effort.
Can I say something else about that? We care too goddamn much about these women. No disrespect to any of the women in the panel. That were on the panel in the
I just
chat.
don't care about
We
women.
care too goddamn much about these women.
I don't, brother.
I mean, it's like I don't. I get it if you've been married or something like that, but god damn,
I drive past them.
Just too much. All these discussions about submission, domination, protection, all this stuff.
It don't even matter.
It don't matter.
Go drive, and there will be somebody trying to catch up to your car, talking about I get in. I know how to act right.
Right. I don't. It's like if we're not trying to get over on somebody, we're trying to oppress someone that don't give two shits about us. And that shit, and this is why we have so many of these pedophiles, these 1 minute want to be LGBTQ, then he want to be hetero, getting all in these groups because we too focused on the wrong stuff.
We got another one coming. We got another one coming. We got
another one coming.
Something's gonna happen on the woman's side that's gonna be so drastic. I guarantee. Because see, the feminine chicks ain't taking this abuse no more from these swirlers and these anti-blacks. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna highlight her video on my channel, but I ran into a sister the other day said, "Hey, I like being a pick-me." Here it comes.
I don't even get that either. But it's like when I hear these women complaining, but it's like when you try to tell a woman, "Hey, this ain't a dude." Like this was a chick named, I don't know if you know the Sukihana thing.
No.
Okay. Basically, this chick was letting people spit on her, take dumps on her, pee on her.
Wow.
On video. And there was a black guy going to marry her. Had a kid with her.
Oh my God.
Yes. And I said, that dude ain't a man to me. That's not a man. And you had a chick literally tell me, how you gonna tell him that's not a man?
Is she a musical person?
I don't know who she is, to be honest. This was something that they talked about on BMT channel, and it was I think she was a reality show, something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's the music chick. You know what? It's just like when I've been at some of these porn sites, I'll see these brothers put their whole face in my friend's butthole. My friend is a chick, a white chick, and she's a porn star. They will put their whole face in her butthole. And when I tell you, sometimes when I go with her or my other friend's not as bad, but sometimes when I go to her to some of these porn sites, man, and I'm like, I see the dudes, I'm like, what's up? Because I'm always on the couch. I ain't never tripping. I ain't standing. I ain't trying to take pictures. I'm there absorbing the scene because I think for me it's intellectually amazing to me. For this low ass pay, the stuff people will create a fantasy about, because these dudes don't get paid a lot. These dudes got to bust 3-4 nuts a day, and some of them still be living in apartments.
That sounds tiring, to be honest with you.
Right.
I'm like, I just got through with a chick I bust 2, and I was like, yeah. I was old. Let's go home.
Yeah, some of these dudes is busting several nuts a day. We coming to you, MC Worker. Some of these dudes is busting several nuts a day because they getting like some dudes. When I found out some dudes was having sex for free just to be on the video, I was like, what part of the game is this? Then you had other dudes that was only getting a couple of $100. Then you had one of the top dudes getting $300 to $600 per nut. And I'm like, but you here for 6 hours just to get $300 to $600. Then you got to run to another studio and bust there. Then you got to go to. Oh, it's just too much.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They want to live up to, and you got dudes trying to live up to that fantasy of trying to get that particular chick who is bottom of the barrel anyway. I mean, it's just
well, they all like without the makeup, man. They all basic chicks, man. Same chick find at any junior college.
Mm-hmm.
So, but appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much. I got to get to MC Worker to start the show.
No problem. Thank you for having me on the panel, and good night, everybody.
Yeah, come back next time. Hey, are you part of the email, man?
Yeah, I got the email.
Okay,
so
all right.
That's how I knew about this video. I got the email.
That's what's up. All right, MC Worker, you're the star of the show, sir. Tell me what are your thoughts.
Well, great show tonight, and it's really sad that we have these type of people who have done these things and who are still doing these things and have a track record of doing these things still be amongst us, let alone still share the same title as man. It's very disheartening. And so we as men, since we set the rules and the boundaries and the guidelines of manhood, then we should also need to be able to separate those who aren't showing that. And as always, thank you for letting me up here and voice my opinions and my thoughts. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, sir. And it's like I always say, if you ain't killing no dragons, I ain't trying to have you around me because you liable to work for the enemy. So just ain't try to do it. Thank you, everybody, for coming in, and thank you, MC Worker. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. I am going to go to bed so I can wake up 4 in the morning, and I hooked up the gym in my house, so I don't need to be worried about the gym. So I'm gonna crack at it 4 a.m. in the morning, drag myself out of bed, and hit this stuff before I go to work. Much love. Dana, that is the definition of a pick me, Dana. You know what, Future, I'm gonna have to have you and Dana come on the show and hash that out. I'm gonna send y'all both invites to have that pick me conversation. Much love to you guys. Talk to you later. Peace.